All right, it is some people's favorite time of the year. Might be my favorite time of the year, at least not during the season right now. The legal tampering window opens in about 2 minutes. That means that unrestricted free agents can legally talk to interested teams. They can't sign with them yet because the new league year doesn't begin until Wednesday, but you'll see a lot of deals agreed to in principle. So we're about 2 minutes away. Last year we did this. It was a lot of fun. You guys got to sit there and watch me work. I don't know how it was fun for you, but you said it was fun. So we're doing it again. And we already have some news that's been rolling in throughout the course of the morning to set the table. The biggest news pertaining to the 49ers from Adam Schefter, now also from Ian Rappaport, the Texans and the Raiders are expected to have interest in Jimmy Garoppolo to be their quarterback. The Jets right now are still waiting for Aaron Rodgers. So are the Packers. His future is TBD, but the Jets might actually be interested in Jimmy Garoppolo as well if Aaron Rodgers passes on them. Earlier this morning, Deshaun Watson, as expected, restructured his contract. Actually, clauses in that contract with Cleveland that allow the Browns to restructure, change base salary into signing bonus so they can open up cap room whenever they want. They don't even need Deshaun Watson's permission for that. So that was all expected. 1 minute to go until the legal tampering period opens up. So I've got the Twitter machine open, and I also have this ready for you. This is our 49ers live free agent tracker on The Athletic. Please do check that out. I'm copying and pasting the link into the comments section. Yesterday, the 49ers re-signed Tashawn Gibson ahead of free agency. They also re-signed Colton McKivitz a couple days ago. That is the news in the free agent tracker. So we're just a few seconds away. News should begin dropping at exactly 9 a.m. Pacific time because they say that you're not allowed to tamper before 9 a.m. Pacific, but teams, I think, have already been talking. Some agents, some players, they'll go behind the rules. That's common practice every single season. So it's going to be funny when exact contract details are announced at any moment now. Just a few more seconds and we'll be going. The tampering window is open. The 2023 NFL legal tampering window is open. I'm tweeting at Lombardi himself on Twitter, by the way. And we'll see if any news hits that causes people to be like, hey, wait. There's no way they could have finalized that contract in 30 seconds. They had to be doing this before the tampering window. So far, nothing. I have TweetDeck open, so the tweets are scrolling across. The Falcons re-signed Chris Lindstrom, their star guard, 5 years, $105 million a few minutes ago, $21 million per year. You know, it's helpful for me to open up all the contracts here so we could see where that ranks amongst guards. And keep TweetDeck open on the other screen. I definitely wasn't late. I was on 3 minutes before the tampering window opened. Alan Gonzalez thinks that Garoppolo is going to go to the Raiders, the Patriots. Well, the Texans and the Raiders are the two reported teams that will be interested in Garoppolo today. Now, remember where Garoppolo goes, that's going to determine what kind of comp pick the 49ers get in return for him. So 49ers fans should be cheering for Jimmy Garoppolo to get as much money as possible because that will help them get as high of a compensatory pick in the 2024 draft as possible. And we know how important comp picks are to the 49ers. All right. I just hid TweetDeck. Not the right time to hide TweetDeck. Got to get this sucker back open to see if anything is happening in the National Football League. Maybe I put it on this screen. Josh McDaniels, obviously the coach of the Raiders, would be reuniting with Jimmy Garoppolo if he goes to the Raiders, to Las Vegas. Nothing coming through yet. I think last year at this time, we were already getting news. Maybe there wasn't as much tampering this year ahead of the 9 a.m. start to all of that. Hope everybody likes the jerseys in the background. We've got Gore and Rudy Rudiger, Joe Montana's teammate from Notre Dame. Congratulations to those who guessed that right back a few weeks ago when that second jersey, the 45, went up there. Yeah, Jimmy G to the XFL. According to Albert Breer, Jimmy Garoppolo wants at least 25 million per year. We'll see if he gets 25 million per year through base and signing bonus, or if it's going to take a bigger package of incentives to get there, given the sketchier health history as of late for Jimmy Garoppolo. But we definitely will track how that ends up working in relation to what the 49ers would be in line to get back from a compensatory pick perspective. Everybody getting off their clever legal tampering period tweets. The NFL itself has tweeted, "Here we go." And they put a little signing emoji in there. Nobody can sign anything officially until Wednesday. This is just the period right before the new league year starts on Wednesday. So, for salary cap purposes, the 49ers, they would have to they're under the cap right now, but all teams have to be under the cap by Wednesday. The 49ers currently have $4 million or so for spending purposes. And that's all going to kick in once the new league year actually begins. Now, there's a lot of stuff that I've produced here over the last few days to help get you ready for what's coming here in the legal tampering period and in free agency. So obviously we have our free agent tracker with Tashawn Gibson leading the way up on the screen. But there's going to be, there are these interactive tools that we've built, including the Build Your Own 49ers roster. This is the salary cap sheet. This is the depth chart. This is the Build Your Own roster. If you want to actually go to the Build Your Own roster page, you go here, Build Your Own Sustainable 2023 49ers roster. This will help you understand the financial Tetris that's going to be going on. Go and check that out in the chat section. I already have way too many windows up here for my own good. But we're still waiting for the first frenetic news of the day. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, according to ESPN's Diana Rossini, have shown interest in both Baker Mayfield and Jacoby Brissett, per sources. So the Buccaneers, QB needy. This might be the biggest offseason of QB musical chairs ever. It's one reason why people are intrigued tuning in now. Jimmy Garoppolo, obviously part of that game of musical chairs. Last season, at this time, Jimmy Garoppolo had undergone his surgery, partook in the game of musical chairs, but he remained standing at the end because of his shoulder surgery. Teams didn't want to trade for him. This time, Jimmy Garoppolo is an unrestricted free agent, or will be technically on Wednesday. So that changes things. The fact that he's not coming off of shoulder surgery should change things. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are interested in Mayfield and Brissett to start this legal tampering window. 49ers, like I said, about $4 or $5 million in 2023 cap space. They can restructure to open up more. We're waiting on the final details and the cap breakdown for Tashawn Gibson's deal. There is some disagreement online between Over the Cap and between what Aaron Wilson reported regarding whether or not Tashawn Gibson's got some void years on the contract. $2.9 million deal yesterday, but if he's got void years on the contract for a fairly small deal, the 49ers don't typically tack on void years to one-year deals. They haven't in the past. That's to stretch out the cap hit over multiple seasons. If that's the case, it shows the 49ers are really doing a little bit of penny pinching here, trying to make their buck go a long way, which would indicate that they are saving for very specific expenses in free agency. Nobody's expecting them to go crazy this year except for delusional fans. But when we really look at the tea leaves and say, okay, hey, are they going to spend $5 million on a QB? They're going to go vet minimum on a QB. I think they're probably going to go economical at that QB position, given the tea leaves that we're reading with the Tashawn Gibson contract. They're trying to save as much money there as possible. Now, if you want to restructure Christian McCaffrey, open up some space, you can do that if you're the 49ers. But John Lynch seemed to indicate at the combine that they're hesitant to do that. They like Christian McCaffrey's deal as it is. Maybe you restructure somebody like Fred Warner then to open up some space. Right now, you don't have that much operating room for the 49ers, but you're in a fairly healthy cap situation compared to a lot of the rest of the league. The Rams have been having to release players just to get camp compliant. The 49ers definitely aren't in a perfect spot, but it is a sustainable spot as of right now. They're still paying a lot of dead money to guys like D Ford. That obviously financially is hurting them at the very moment, but they're not in a position of cap unsustainability to where they're having to jettison players. Lamar Jackson can't talk with anybody, by the way, until Wednesday, till the new league year starts. Exclusive, non-exclusive franchise tag, not exclusive. The non-exclusive franchise tag Ravens slapped on Lamar Jackson. That means he could begin negotiating with other teams beginning Wednesday. If he agrees to terms with another team, then the Ravens will have the right to match that offer sheet and keep Lamar Jackson. That's what the non-exclusive franchise tag means. Nothing new with the Jimmy Garoppolo situation, with the Texans and the Raiders both expected to be interested. That's something that we could have deduced a long time ago. McAfee just opened up his show. Pat McAfee, quote, "I have no answers for you. I got no idea what the hell is going on," end quote. That's about Aaron Rodgers. McAfee was the one that was breaking a lot of the Aaron Rodgers stuff last year. I know Aaron comes on that show regularly, more often than I do. It's going to be time for another McAfee appearance, hopefully soon for me and for Aaron Rodgers, so we could figure out what the hell's going on there. Because that does impact the 49ers. Again, the Jets might be interested in Jimmy Garoppolo, but they're waiting for Aaron Rodgers first. I, meanwhile, am interested in continuing to track what's going on. No splashy deals yet, so we're still going to sit here and wait, drink a little bit of our coffee. I could look at some questions as well. Roster builders up on the screen. By the way, 49ers build your own roster. If you want to see how exactly this works from a mechanical standpoint, got you covered. So say that the 49ers sign Teddy Bridgewater today. You just select him here. Boom, Teddy Bridgewater costs you $6.5 million. Cap space goes down. Say that you sign Jimmy Garoppolo on top of that, all of a sudden you're in negative cap space. So you could do that with the whole roster. Trust me, it's addictive. Your boss might yell at you, but that is the goal. So that's the 49ers build your own roster. So post your questions up on the screen. We will talk about the 49ers and the legal tampering window as I monitor TweetDeck. Maybe get a message or two from Mike. Still waiting for that, but time to answer some questions. Why don't we go that way? They don't need to. 49ers don't need to rework anybody right now because they don't need to be under the cap or they don't need more room officially until Wednesday. Last year they reworked Eric Armstead and George Kittle, and they did it on Tuesday of this week. So there's no need to do that sooner than you have to. You have to be cap compliant by the start of the new league year. Any indication Jake Brendel signs back with the 49ers? Well, he wants to, but he also wants to get the best deal for himself. And we know the Texans are also interested. We know some other teams might also be interested because Brendel played well last year. I put Jake Brendel in the same bucket as Deshaun Gibson in that this is a veteran that was, on a shorter term deal that played really well last year, that had, top 3 metrics. Brendel was number 3 in pass block efficiency that the 49ers would love to keep. And in the case of Gibson, they were able to prevent him from testing the open waters of free agency. But Brendel might be a little bit more interest here just because he is younger and he's playing at a premium position. Today, by the way, there's a big expectation around the league that O and D linemen who are about to hit free agency are going to get paid. So Brendel's obviously part of that group. Mike McGlinchey is part of that group. The 49ers, John Lynch talked about he doesn't think the 49ers will be able to retain Mike McGlinchey because of price. He also said he doesn't think the 49ers are going to be going big after defensive linemen because of price. So it's going to be smaller signings for the 49ers. And that fits into the salary cap picture that I am talking about. The Patriots are expected to re-sign standout cornerback Jonathan Jones, according to Ian Rappaport. 2-year deal for Jonathan Jones, staying with New England. Raekwon McMillan is re-signing with the Patriots, according to Jeff Howe. Aaron Wilson reports that the Texans and Raiders might be looking at Jimmy Garoppolo as a starting quarterback, but as a bridge quarterback because of the durability concerns. Aaron Wilson pretty plugged into what happens in Houston. So if Aaron Wilson's reporting that on the Texan side, then I think it can be trusted as a legitimate report. Plus, this is coming from all the national reporters as well. And it's not surprising that the Texans and the Raiders would be in on Jimmy Garoppolo. Both QB needy teams, and the Texans obviously have Bobby Slowick, who coached Jimmy Garoppolo in San Francisco as their offensive coordinator. I don't think the 49ers are going to sign Bosa till later in the offseason. Deadline pressure will spur that. That's going to be closer to training camp. Hopefully, tell Pat to call me up and I'll come on the show. That's what usually happens. Those guys will message you morning of and like, hey, do you want to come on the show? Very casual. They're great at interviewing. Makes Pat McAfee and all his guys at that show make the interviewee feel really, really at home. First time I was on that show, it was like, wow, this is cool. This is a big audience, big deal. Those guys, they're just shooting the shit. You're having a good time. Really like being on Pat's show. Looking through some of your questions and comments. Yes, I think Aziz Al-Shire will get a contract offer elsewhere. Not expecting the 49ers to re-sign him. 49ers have Deshaun Gibson. For some reason, people are obsessed with Jesse Bates. That's, a very unlikely 49ers signing. Again, they don't have money. It's not Madden. They can't just go Christmas Santa Claus wish list mode and pick up everybody just because it's a big name. This is the time of people going crazy over big names and then wanting to fire John Lynch when the 49ers don't sign every single one of them. But I'll just break it to you. This is not how this is going to work, and it never has worked. Austin Eckler, the Chargers running back, is requesting permission to speak with other teams about a potential trade after preliminary talks with the team aimed at a contract extension did not progress. His agent Cameron Weiss told ESPN. That is according to Adam Schefter. The Chargers in a situation where they need to clear up some cap space, and I know they did clear up some space. Obviously, the deadline is Wednesday, but as far as giving new money to veteran players, probably in a more restricted spot. So Austin Eckler wants to talk to other teams. The Bears are on the board, according to Ian Rappaport. Former Eagles linebacker TJ Edwards, 3-year contract. The Bears have like 70 plus million in salary cap space. That's after DJ Moore came over in the trade, or is going to come over officially on Wednesday. They've got a lot of cap space. Expect them to really load up today. I think that if you look at the Bears, they are probably the leader in the clubhouse to sign Mike McGlinchey because they're going to have the money to do it. Again, O linemen, D linemen are going to go for a lot of money, more money than the 49ers are comfortable paying a lot of these guys this offseason. And the Bears have made their first free agency signing, or at least agreed to make it, with TJ Edwards. The Eagles have lost somebody. The Eagles didn't have great linebackers last year, so this is not a huge signing for the Bears. But it is a bellwether, I think, of what is to come, and that is Eagles losing some players, Bears definitely picking up a lot of players in free agency with the loads of cap space that they have. So that's our first official signing. Bears picking up TJ Edwards. I'll open up some stats here so we can go through them as different players are signed. It's always the fun way to operate. Yeah, and this is going to be a more casual, longer show. This is where you get to watch me work. TJ Edwards coming off of a season. Wow, he had 1,183 snaps this past year. And he had a good year for the Eagles. Got after the quarterback on those blitzes, 11 pressures, 135 tackles for TJ Edwards. I mean, this is a 26-year-old player in his prime who's coming off a season in which he, if you include the playoffs, racked up more than 1,200 snaps. So this is a loss for the Philadelphia Eagles and a gain for the Chicago Bears. And hey, any loss for the Eagles is good news for the 49ers because they're vying with Philadelphia for that NFC supremacy. Bears assistant GM Ian Cunningham is the former director of player personnel in Philadelphia. So there's bound to be some crossover there. Tej Seth has a good tweet here. Get this up on the screen. He's a good analytics guy. I think he goes to MIT. Really, really smart guy. I'm going to open this sucker up for you. Get this on the screen. This is on Jimmy Garoppolo. Here it is. Can you read that? Jimmy Garoppolo playing a full season with a different team should finally give us the answer to what his EPA per play, expected points added per play, would look like without Kyle Shanahan. Because he's been third since joining the 49ers. This is since 2017. Jimmy Garoppolo, undervalued QB when you look at the efficiency statistics. Now we'll see what the league values him at. But we're talking number 3 in EPA per play behind only Mahomes and Breeze since 2017, ahead of Rivers, Brady, Rodgers, Watson, Burrow, Jackson, and Josh Allen. So if Garoppolo signs with Houston, if he signs with the Raiders, we'll see how he's doing efficiency-wise. It would be a fascinating question to have answered. Mike has sent me some TJ Edwards details, and we have our first team that's guilty, I think, of tampering, although they won't get in trouble for it. There is no firm evidence. But if they hammered this out already, I mean, all these contract details out already, it's only been 20 minutes since the tampering window opened. He gets $19.5 million over 3 years, $12 million guaranteed. A big signing for Chicago, and not the last. So 19.5 over 3 is six and a half per year for TJ Edwards with 12 million guaranteed. You guys want a comparison to Warner and Greenlaw? I could get that in a little bit. And I guess PFF had a player valuation of 13.5 million for Edwards. So obviously 6.5 per is discount compared to that. But those projections, you never know. So hard to get a read on. I am looking for TweetDeck again. The curse of having so many damn windows open. Thank goodness I have a monitor here. Chicago Bears are targeting right tackle Mike McGlinchey. The two sides are talking and hoping to get a deal done per sources. Ooh, that's the first juicier 49ers news today. Bears hoping to finalize deal with Mike McGlinchey. I'm going to put this up as a text title. This is Diana Rossini, ESPN. So again, I just mentioned this a few minutes ago, right? The Bears have what, 70 plus million in salary cap space. We just saw them sign TJ Edwards to a reasonable contract. They were expected to be massive players on the free agency scene. And now Mike McGlinchey is in their crosshairs. I'm going to retweet Diana here. Chicago is awash in salary cap space and has already been active today with the TJ Edwards deal. The fact that they're indeed aggressively pursuing Mike McGlinchey is definitely not a surprise. The 49ers will not interested in outbidding Chicago here. 49ers are not interested in outbidding Chicago. I think that's the fair way to put it regarding this Mike McGlinchey situation. All right. Got that tweet up. Now I got to get back on TweetDeck, see what else we have coming. Thank you, Mike, keeping me apprised in our little private chat off on the side. Twitter keeps us all updated as well. If I have a little extra time here in a minute, I'll get back to some more questions for you. But the thing is, I usually don't have extra time because this is the busiest day of the year. But we're getting a lot of viewers on this sucker, 425 of you. 49ers free agency live. Jimmy Garoppolo, Texans, Raiders. Those are the two teams likely in contact with the Garoppolo camp right now. The Chicago Bears in contact with Mike McGlinchey. This was expected. I mean, we could take a look at the 49ers depth chart here. Mike McGlinchey, very likely not part of that puzzle for the 49ers this next season. Obviously, not part of it right now. You look at the offensive line, it's Trent Williams, Aaron Banks, Keith Ishmael, Spencer Burford, Colton McKivitz at right tackle. The 49ers re-upped a couple days ago on a 2-year deal, although, they're still going to be looking for more help along the offensive line, and I think help that competes with Colton McKivitz. But McGlinchey was the right tackle, and that's very likely no longer going to be the case moving forward. First-round pick in 2018, McGlinchey could go to Chicago, not far from where he attended college at the University of Notre Dame. Keith Ishmael, named to watch at center, back with the 49ers after being on the practice squad last year. But obviously, we are also waiting for news on Jake Brendel. Got a nice big show. Maybe we push this over 1,000 by the time it's said and done, which is crazy for the off season. I'll give you guys a look at some pricing structures and stuff of that sort here in a few minutes. Those of you coming in, this is the legal tampering window, free agency. It is here. It opened 25 minutes ago, and you're just watching me work. And there hasn't been a lot of work so far because it just so happens that nobody people have made some signings, but nothing huge has happened yet. There's been some stuff. There's been Mike McGlinchey talking to the Bears, according to ESPN's Diana Rossini. There's been Jimmy Garoppolo, interest from the Texans and from the Raiders. But Aaron Rodgers is holding the Packers hostage right now. So we don't know what's going to happen on that front. Man, that Lindstrom deal, that is the biggest guard deal of all time. $21 million per year above Quentin Nelson, which was $20 million per year. That's crazy. That's something that I think I need to tweet about. Linemen will be flying off the shelves for a lot of money if that's any indication. The Bucks. Okay, here we go. The Bucks are exploring trade possibilities with guard Shaq Mason, per sources. With a $9.6 million cap hit, Mason could become a cap casualty for the cap-strapped Bucks. A quality guard appears ready to enter the market. So that again, the Bucks can't afford Shaq Mason with a $9.6 million hit, A, that, is another illustration that, yes, the salary cap is real. It affects things. But B, you're going to get another offensive lineman on the market. The 49ers won't be on the market for a bigger money guard, but it will underscore the fact that linemen are going to go for a lot of money. And I'm about to tweet about Chris Lindstrom here. $21 million per season. Chris Lindstrom's new contract sets an NFL record for guards and underscores what was expected. Linemen would make bank this free agency period. So Lindstrom is 1 at $21 million per year. Quentin Nelson, 2 at $20 million per year. Elkton Jenkins, 3 at $17 million per year. These are left guards, by the way. And Joe Thuney, really good guard for the Chiefs, $16 million per year. Joel Bitonio, also $16 million per year. And then you get into your next tier of guards. The next one after that is Laken Tomlinson at 13.3. I'm going to put him on this list just because that's interesting comparing to Lindstrom for 49ers fans. All right. Tweet it out. Go ahead and check me out on Twitter. If you're upset that I'm not talking enough, then it's because I'm tweeting a little bit. I've got to handle multiple things at once. Lindstrom has played on both sides of the offensive line, which gives him some good durability. That's good marketability, not durability. He's durable, but he also has good marketability. But congratulations to him. He is now the highest paid guard of all time. $21 million per year. Wild that guard contracts are now over 20, just exploding in the NFL. The finances are. Taking a look at some questions here. Cutting Armstead would be monumentally stupid on the 49ers' part. A, he's a good football player. B, cutting him would carry a lot of dead money to the point where it'd only save him $1 or $2 million. So it wouldn't even help the 49ers. You can't cut Eric Armstead this year and expect any positive benefits from it. I don't understand the hate for Eric Armstead. Does a lot of good work for the 49ers inside. I think that people just want stats, but you get the stats from a lot of players because of Eric Armstead and the way that he clears space. Post some questions, comment. Even if I can't get it answered, maybe another user will answer you. Just get a good discussion in that comment section. And this year, yeah, you do want Armstead to have more sacks than he did this year, but he also missed some time with that injury. The run defense, though, still good. And, 18 and a half sacks for Nick Bosa, and Bosa will be the first to tell you he doesn't get that many without Eric Armstead. He credits Armstead for a lot of his pass rushing productivity. I think Kenny Hamilton hits this one on the head. The 49ers do not need to make a big splash. They have one of the best rosters in the NFL already. Surprisingly quiet, though, so far. Normally at 9 o'clock, Pacific hits on these days. and you just flood it with news. It's actually kind of crazy how flooded you are with news. Not this year. You could see in my tweet when I talked about Lynn here, I'll put the top guard contracts up on the screen. When I talked about Lindstrom, you could see why the 49ers let Lake and Tomlinson walk last year. Why they're likely to let Mike McGlinchey walk. Because they're liking to play this comp game. When we saw last week how well the 49ers are playing that comp game, that is something that helps this football team replenish its draft choices. I've got to get this open on Twitter for everybody. I'll post it up on the screen. Here we go. Looks like I... All right, check this out right here. Left guard pay in the NFL, average per year, is as follows, following the big contract that we saw from Chris Lindstrom. Tossing it up on the screen right now. You got Lindstrom first at 21 million average per year. Quentin Nelson 20. Elkton Jenkins 17. Thuney with the Chiefs now 16. Bitonio 16, and Laken Tomlinson 13.3 million. Helped the 49ers get a nice compensatory pick in return. One of the reasons they dominated the compensatory formula this year is because they let Laken Tomlinson walk, and they replenished that with Aaron Banks. So you want the draft to fortify your team. The draft will replenish your team. You've got to pick your core veterans to pay. For the 49ers, Laken Tomlinson was not one of them. It doesn't sound like Mike McGlinchey is going to be one of them. Those of you just joining, the Bears are hoping to finalize a deal with Mike McGlinchey, according to Diana Rossini. Lindstrom did get his bag. That is true. This Ayuk trade stuff doesn't make as much sense to me. The 49ers, I mean, the skill positions is going to be tough to find good receivers on the free agent market. You'd be getting worse if you lost Brandon Ayuk. He's your best man coverage beating wide receiver. There's a reason that teams are probably interested in him, but there's also going to be very good reason that the 49ers aren't interested in parting with him. You have him at a really good cap number this year. The extension won't come until a little bit later. But I think the 49ers are just so locked into win now mode right now, help your young QB mode, that losing Brandon Ayuk would be tough unless you're somehow able to get a legitimate replacement for him. And that would not be easy given the climate that we're dealing with at the moment in the National Football League. Calais Campbell, released by the Ravens. Defensive lineman is available. What was his production like this past season? That will be interesting to look up right now. Man, I wish I was better with windows. There's just so many open windows that I have on the screen right now. I'm like, what the hell is going on? We were talking about TJ Edwards a bit earlier. He signed for big money with the Bears, $6.5 million per year. Calais Campbell played on the inside for Baltimore this past season. I mean, huge dude, 6'8", 307. 36 years old now. I mean, he gave the Ravens 583 snaps. Not a bad season. This could be a discounted signing late in his career if the 49ers want to spruce something up. John Lynch really hinted that the D line would be about developing guys and bringing in vets on short-term 1-year deals. So the 49ers could actually fit some of this stuff into their salary cap situation. So we'll keep our eye on Calais Campbell, 5.5 sacks last year. Ravens cut DT Calais Campbell. We'll put longtime star DT Calais Campbell. He's 36. He'll be 37. Let's put that. 37 years old next season, but has still been a productive player. 5.5 sacks in 2022. He's been around for a while. Played 62% of the snaps for the Ravens. Jason Kelce coming back to Philadelphia. This is what Jason Kelce just said, and I quote on Twitter: "I put much thought into whether it makes sense to play another season. After talking it over with my wife and many other friends and family, I've decided to return for another year. Thank you to all my supporters and detractors for fueling me. I ain't fucking done yet." I'm just quoting Jason Kelce, so pardon the language, but I had to read what he said. He's not done. He's not leaving. He's like Leo in Wolf of Wall Street. Eagles get their star center back. That's big news for Philadelphia. Arms race between the 49ers and the Eagles. The Eagles are going to be losing some through free agency. The 49ers probably too. But who these teams can retain, that's going to be big news. And it looks like the Eagles are retaining Jason Kelce. Big retention for the Eagles, who are obviously in an arms race with the 49ers atop the NFC. Jason Kelce's sticking around. Ooh, we have another signing, another guard. Mike Kliss, who covers Denver. Broncos kick off free agency with the intention to sign Ravens left guard Ben Powers to a 4-year contract per source. Sean Payton values guards in his offensive schemes. Yes, he does. So Ben Powers going to Denver in all likelihood. And I'm going to be really interested in the money on that 4-year deal because we just saw Chris Lindstrom pick up a record $21 million per year. Ben Powers technically still with the Ravens. Remember, legal tampering window is here, but players cannot sign officially with teams if they're with other teams right now until Wednesday when the new league year starts. Those of you just joining, the Texans and the Raiders have expected interest in Jimmy Garoppolo. The Bears are hoping to finalize a deal with Mike McGlinchey. That's according to Diana Rossini of ESPN. The tampering window is here, and the 49ers have about $4 million of salary cap space as we speak. All right, Steph Sanchez has some footage of Calais Campbell, and she thinks the 49ers should sign him. So why don't we watch it? Mike just sent it to me. Mike, doing a great job, as always. I, meanwhile, am multitasking as much as possible. All right, here we go. Let's put this up on the screen. Should the 49ers sign Calais Campbell? Add banner. Get this up on the screen. Let's watch the tape. Working against some New Orleans Saints interior line. Oh, God, that's some quickness. You guys see that burst? Let's keep on watching this over and over. 93 on the right. Oh, that guy's 36. It's a young man's game. This guy's going to be 37. He doesn't get touched on his way to the QB. Let's retweet Steph here. Wait. The DT. That blew by the center's face and hit the QB untouched. It's 36 years old. Yeah, the 49ers shouldn't hesitate if Calais Campbell is up for a late career discount. But based on this tape and his 5.5 sacks last season, that's a major if. This is how we tweet. Boom. There we go. That was impressive. Calais Campbell on the inside working against the New Orleans Saints last season. So he's available. The Ravens releasing him as we wait for more news with the free agency legal tampering window here. Should the 49ers sign Calais Campbell? Let your thoughts be known in the comment section. We can talk about that because obviously the 49ers need a defensive tackle. I mean, they need help on the inside. I don't know if they're going to address that to the draft. Or they're going to hope that Calais Davis comes through. It's, you could see in our roster builder just how many holes the 49ers have along that defensive line. Take a look at this. This is the D-line room right here. I just highlighted it. Look at all the openings. Select, 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 select. You got defensive end spot, defensive tackle spots galore for the 49ers. So if you do sign somebody like Calais Campbell, that's where he would presumably slot in. I don't think he'd be playing any other position. We might have another video for you. Let us see. Let us see. Greg Gabriel. This is the wrong one. Did you send me? Oh, Draymond Jones. Oh, sorry. No, I was reading the wrong thing. Sorry, Mike. He sent me a tweet. The Bears are trying hard for Draymond Jones, defensive tackle, but it's going to be hard. It's going to be expensive. Don't know if it gets done. Okay, well, if the Bears don't have enough money for this guy, nobody's going to have enough money for this guy. The Bears have like 70 million in cap space, like I was saying. The Bears have been looking at McGlinchey. I'm looking at some of the questions right now. We've been going for 49 minutes. We're covering the 49ers. Poetry in that. Draymond Jones, only 26, prime of his career. Versatile defensive lineman. That is a name to watch in this free agency period. Brandon Graham re-signed with Philly. Somebody's asking about Fletcher Cox. 49ers might be interested in 2 Rams, according to some reports. Matt Gay, the kicker, and Ashawn Robinson, the defensive tackle. No, the 49ers like both of those players. Matt Gay's coming off of a good year for LA. Those players set to hit free agency. We, meanwhile, are watching the Twitter machine to see any new news coming across. Ashawn Robinson, this would be interesting as a defensive tackle. Why don't we take a look at him and how much money he might make? If we look at our roster builder, which is right here, I think we have Ashawn Robinson as an option. I want to see how much money that would possibly cost the 49ers. Kevin Cole's improvement index based on offseason roster moves and draft value. This is interesting. Pop this open up on the screen for you guys. So far, the Bears have improved the most. Obviously, they've made the biggest move. There's the improvement index. Make it a little bit bigger. Get this across the whole screen. 49ers right in the middle of the pack. They've lost a little bit. This is only through March 13th. The Rams, look how much the Rams have lost. Let me take the Calais Campbell text title off. You see the bottom. The Rams way down here. Points-based improvement, minus 30 for the Rams. The Bears, plus 25. So year to year, a lot can change in the National Football League. That much is for sure. Yeah, the Bears, they'd blow the top off of this sheet right here if they're able to get Draymond Jones, and they're reportedly interested, but sounds like he might be too expensive for them. Post your questions. I think it's good time for another question and answer session. Going to go back, wade into that comment section, see what's going on. Mike says, Dan Graziano, ESPN, sources with multiple teams believe the Broncos could trade a wide receiver. Denver has had talks with teams about Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, and KJ Hamler. Teams say the Broncos are asking high prices, not just dumping salary, but it's not out of the question one gets moved. Ooh, interesting. And I suppose a lot of the Brandon Ayuk rumors are coming from the same schools of thought. The 49ers would be asking for a lot in return for Brandon Ayuk, coming off a 1,000-yard season. Stock has never been higher. Obviously, contract not lasting all too much longer. They have got to decide on the 5th-year option, which if he's still on the team by May, they'll say yes for Brandon Ayuk. Yeah, I was about to talk about this earlier, then a lot of stuff happened. Shelby Harris released by Seattle. Good interior defensive lineman. He still has some juice left in the tank. He was with the Broncos before Seattle. That's a player the 49ers can look at. I promised I'd talk about Ashawn Robinson. Why don't we take a look at his snap load this past season for the Los Angeles Rams? 49ers have taken a Rams defensive lineman in free agency before. That was Sansom Ebukam, whose contract is set to expire this year. All right, interior lineman Ashawn Robinson. He's a big body, 6'4", 330, about to turn 28 years old. His best season was that Super Bowl year. Ashawn was with Detroit beforehand under Chris Kasarik before LA. So I think, any Kasarik offensive lineman that hits the market is going to be somebody the 49ers want to look at. Again, the 49ers interior pass rush last year, just their interior presence wasn't good at all. Ashawn Robinson had 4 sacks in 2021. Good pass rushing year for him. His run defense is a strong suit, though. And, he gave the Rams 628 snaps in 21. He had 4 solid seasons with Detroit, and that's obviously those coincided with Chris Kasarik, 49ers defensive line coach. So Ashawn Robinson might really be a player that the 49ers do bring in. Why don't we even put that down as a name to watch? Oh, we have Ben Powers signing with the Broncos. 4 years, 52 million, 28.5 guaranteed. So that's 13 million per year for a guard. So that's Laken Tomlinson money in essence. 13.3 million for Laken Tomlinson. Ben Powers with the Broncos gets 4 years, 52 million. So these linemen are going for a lot. We had Chris Lindstrom, Falcons re-signing for 21 million. That's an NFL record for guards. Ben Powers, not at the level of Lindstrom, signs for 13 million per year. Name to watch for the 49ers, Ashawn Robinson, Rams defensive tackle, played under Chris Kasarik in Detroit, 4 sacks last season. He could really boost the 49ers with his 330-pound frame up front. I'm going to tweet about Ashawn Robinson right now. Chris Kasarik was in Denver or Detroit from 2010 to 2017. So he was there at the start of Ashawn Robinson's time with the Lions. So definitely studied him coming out of college. If the 49ers pursue Rams DT Ashawn Robinson, let's see. They'd follow a trend of going after D linemen who have history with Chris Kasarik. 330-pound Robinson broke into the league under Kasarik, who was the D-line coach in Detroit back then. What year did Ashawn Robinson come into the league? Let's look this up. "27 years old now, 2016. This is on the Twitter. 49ers need DT juice. Packers have agreed to terms with All-Pro returner Keyshawn Nixon, a 1-year deal worth $6 million. Ian Rappaport jokes. That's the news everybody was waiting for. Yeah, he's joking. I know. Texans have a fullback, Andrew Beck. Bobby Slowick has his version of Kyle Juszczyk. Now will he have his Jimmy Garoppolo? We'll see. Those of you just joining, 49ers stand to gain a nice comp pick if Jimmy Garoppolo makes some money. And it looks like the Texans and the Raiders are interested in that. The Bears hoping to finalize something with Mike McGlinchey. Calais Campbell has been released by the Ravens. That could be a potential 49ers target. By the way, with a release, he can be signed immediately. Doesn't have to wait until the new league year starts on Wednesday. And Ashawn Robinson, Rams defensive tackle, is a name to watch on the 49ers front. Oh, here we go. A big name off the board. Falcons have agreed to terms with David Onyemata. Reunites with his former defensive coordinator, Ryan Nielsen. Onyemata was one of the prized defensive tackle names on this free agent market. And before Lynch spoke and explained to the Combine that he doesn't think the 49ers are going to go big name at DT, he thought they might go 1-year kind of deal at DT. It was Onyemata was a name that everybody talked about. Obviously, Javon Hargrave is the big fish there, but Onyemata is now with the Falcons. So I'm gonna quote tweet this, and I'll say bigger name, DT off the board. David Mena will likely command a significant chunk of change in a market that seems very favorable to linemen. '49ers have indicated that budget options are most likely for them. Hence, Ashawn Robinson. Mentions, etc. All right, tweet it again. Follow along on Twitter, by the way. We'll get that athletic free agency tracker fired back up when news does happen on the 49ers front. Been on for an hour now. Hour and 1 minute. Have a good crowd on hand. Nothing has happened yet substantively for the 49ers today. Andrew Beck, the fullback that signed with the Texans, 2 years, $6.75 million, $4 million guaranteed. So don't worry, Kyle Juszczyk, you remain the highest paid fullback in football. 49ers free agency. Who wants to take a look at the depth chart right now? Get it up there for you guys. Boom. That's what it's looking like right now. Give me a little bit of a break. Not going to be on camera. I'll put myself in the corner. 49ers depth chart, all quiet on the Western Front. On the front of the 49ers. I'm about to get lunch pretty soon. Getting hungry. I'm on Central Time right now. Flew yesterday from the West Coast out here to Nashville, flying back to the West Coast this week. I'm back and forth. David Onyemata, close to $12 million per year expected from the Atlanta Falcons. Out of the 49ers price range. Tampa Bay will release Shaq Mason if a trade cannot be worked out, per Tom Pelissero. Guard Shaq Mason, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 49ers, though, I think with Burford and Aaron Banks right now, they like their cost-controlled efficiency at guard with young players. I'd love to have some 49ers news. Tampa Bay pursuing Baker Mayfield. Second time we've heard that today. This time courtesy Tom Pelissero. Before I go to lunch, I'd love to have some 49ers news. So we talk about price range. We could talk about building your own 49ers roster, which while you're waiting, you could do right here. The roster builder, I'll get the link for you. This is the roster builder. Go ahead and check this out. Mike, maybe, actually, yeah, Mike, if you could put this link into the description, that would be great for the roster builder. I'm putting into the chat section. Build your own roster here. You click on that link, and then you open up this spreadsheet. Not this one right here. And, you could see how somebody like Onyemata would have been too expensive for the 49ers. Just doing this exercise probably would have led you to that conclusion. 9 million cap hit, would have taken up almost all the 49ers space. They're definitely going to be showing more restraint with their money. Onyemata signs with the Falcons or plans to sign with the Falcons. I'm going to get Mexican food for lunch. Think I got to get something quick today. I got to be back in front of the computer. For those of you asking, a place called Victor's Tacos here, just down the street. Love it. It's a good spot. Yeah, Campbell played on a $9.5 million deal last year. He'd have to be in ring chasing mode, wanting to win a Super Bowl with the 49ers. It's tough because right now the 49ers quarterback position is rather unsettled. So, a really good roster, but you have to sell yourself as a team that, hey, we're going to win this year to get some of these 1-year free agents. And Campbell, based on that video that we watched and the 5.5 sacks last year, looks like he still has more than 1 year of juice left. That was impressive. No, Joey Bosa can't come to San Francisco right now. He is with the Chargers, still under contract over there. Jason says the 49ers won't make any splash free agent signings this summer. I don't think so either. I think, when I did my roster builder, I made a lot of more reasonable signings. I kept guys that were important at the mid-level prices, but I didn't make any big splashes. Every pick is tradable, including those compensatory picks, to answer your question. We've been on for what, an hour and 7 minutes. Wow. Onyemata's deal's in 3 years, $35 million, includes 24.5 guaranteed. So yeah, essentially $12 million per year. David Onyemata, too expensive. The Broncos did sign Ben Powers, yes, from the Ravens. So far, we only have 49ers speculation this first hour. So far, Texans and Raiders interested in Jimmy Garoppolo. Mike McGlinchey hoping to finalize a deal with the Bears. So why don't we call it for now? Why don't I go get some lunch? When I'm back from lunch, we'll figure out what's next. Hell, we could do this right here. Lombardi is away at lunch. And with that, although there might be some news. Hold on. 49ers news. Just as I'm not signing off. I'm not leaving. Let's play the Leo clip. I'm not leaving. There is something going on here. There's something cooking up on the 49ers front. Josina Anderson. I'm told the following teams have shown preliminary interest in Jaguars cornerback Trey Herndon. The Falcons, the 49ers, and the Giants. I'm told Herndon is not returning to Jacksonville. We'll see how his market continues to unfold. So, corner, this would be interesting. Makes you think the 49ers want depth there, which was obvious. Maybe you want some healthy depth. Herndon, 5'11", 185, went to college in the city where I'm at right now. Nashville, went to Vanderbilt. I think Herndon, they could be looking at him as a slot guy. He's got 3 interceptions to his name, but they all came in 2019. The metrics aren't overly impressive. This sounds like a cornerback depth kind of signing. I think that their top 2 guys as we speak are Charvarius Ward and Lenore. But they're also looking for a third cornerback to be able to work that slot, or you put Herndon out on the outside, move Lenore in the slot. They just need more corners right now. Emmanuel Mosley projected to be a free agent. Anyway, for the time being, this is what I'm going to do. Lombardi is away at lunch. By the way, Trey Herndon appeared in 9 games, making 3 starts. This is just coming from his time with the Jaguars in 2021. Started at nickel cornerback and recorded 5 total tackles, 3 solo. Started at nickel in the first game of the 2021 season, recorded 5 solo tackles. So yeah, I think this is somebody the 49ers are interested in as a nickel cornerback. Let's put that here. 49ers interested in Trey Herndon for nickelback vacancy. Boom. Jarrett Stidham signing 2 years, $10 million with the Broncos. It's going to be Russell Wilson's backup. $5 million guaranteed. Davis Webb, former Cal quarterback, former Texas Tech quarterback. He's the former New York Giants quarterback, the QB coach for Sean Payton and the Broncos, has known Stidham since he was a teenager. So they're going to be reunited there in Denver. But anyway, 49ers interested in Trey Herndon for their nickelback vacancy. I am going to tweet that out right now before I step away to lunch. '49ers are presumably interested in Trey Herndon for their nickel back vacancy. He has the 5'11" DB has started games at slot corner. Boom. Cool. All right, now it should finally be time for me to step away for lunch. You can take a look at the 49ers depth chart while I'm gone, but I'm going to keep this live for the time being. So Lombardi is away at lunch. There we go. And we will talk to you where maybe I could say that I'm going to be back soon. There you go. Cool. Everybody, talk soon. All right, I'm back from lunch. I know the mic was off. A lot has happened. I'm going to have to get back to some writing work, but why don't we just quickly recap a wild few minutes? The 49ers have made a massive splash in free agency by signing Javon Hargrave. The 49ers will sign Javon Hargrave. Now, you talk about an arms race between the 49ers and the Eagles. Well, the 49ers just took a big bite out of the Philadelphia Eagles. They signed the top defensive tackle on the market. Everybody's talking about the 49ers having the number one defense in football already. Well, their biggest weakness was at defensive tackle. And now the 49ers have directly addressed that. I asked John Lynch about this the other day at the NFL Combine. Are you going to sign a big name defensive tackle? Are you interested in that? I framed it more smartly than that. I didn't want to have John Lynch at the blow his cover, and he did a great job lying to me. He said, "Yeah, we don't have the money for that. We're gonna, just work on in-house development." And Kalia Davis, Javon Kinlaw, they're going after Javon Hargrave. 4 years, $84 million. They're gonna have to restructure some players to make this work. Now we also have Jimmy Garoppolo news. The Raiders are closing in on a deal with Jimmy Garoppolo on the first day of the legal tampering period. That's from Mike Garoppolo. So Raiders coming in hot. Jimmy Garoppolo likely to the Raiders. My sources can confirm Jimmy Garoppolo to the Raiders as well. To the Raiders. So let's put that up here. 49ers are going to sign Javon Hargrave. Jimmy Garoppolo likely to the Raiders. And I'm going to be typing and working here. 49ers also are bringing back Kevin Givens. 1 year deal, $2.1 million guaranteed. 49ers re-signing Kevin Givens. Okay, so you guys know the drill here. I have to work. So I'm going to stay here and we can talk. The Raiders are closing in on that deal. As I said, I can confirm through my own sources that that's also happening. Garoppolo, we'll see how much money. I'm going to tell Mike to keep me updated on Garoppolo money. And McGlinchey has signed also. Keep me updated on Garoppolo money, please. Mike McGlinchey, 5 years, $87.5 million, $50 million guaranteed with the Broncos. Denver signed Mike McGlinchey. $17.4 million per year out of the 49ers price range. Put that up on the screen. All right, time to go to the Twitter machine. All right, here we go. Oh, here's Jimmy Garoppolo. Money is in. Comp update. 3 years, $67.5 million, $34 million guaranteed. I don't know if that's fully guaranteed or injury guaranteed, but Garoppolo, 67.5 divided by 3. That's $22.5 million per year for Jimmy Garoppolo. That's from Adam Schefter. $22.5 million per year for Jimmy Garoppolo from the Raiders. Terms, detailed terms aren't yet available, but the 49ers should be in line for a good 2024 comp draft pick. In the case of Mike McGlinchey, the 49ers should really be in line for a good 2024 comp draft pick. Insanely busy 30 minutes on the 49ers front. Why don't we summarize this? Jimmy Garoppolo, obviously, to the Raiders, but first 49ers land Javon Hargrave, top DT and free agency. Jimmy Garoppolo to Raiders for $22.5 million APY. What do we have? Mike McGlinchey 17 to Broncos for 17.4 million APY. Kevin Givens re-signs with 49ers at about 2 million per year, I believe. I'm about to tweet this out. So we have 2.1 million with 2 million guaranteed. And I'll add a wow to that tweet. Now we're going to go into our free agency tracker. And we'll continue working hard. Oh boy. So the 49ers are in line to get good compensatory picks for both McGlinchey and Jimmy Garoppolo. 49ers are in line to receive healthy compensation for both Mike McGlinchey and Jimmy Garoppolo. Both players are set to be paid handsomely by their new teams. Garoppolo a Raider, huh? Wild. Jimmy Garoppolo a Raider. Crazy stuff. Okay. This is the Watch David Work Show. We are now adding Kevin Givens to some of my typing. Let's get this 49ers roster right now. You go to the roster builder, by the way. Javon Hargrave. You add Javon Hargrave to here, it breaks the 49ers cap situation. So they're going to have to restructure somebody to make this work. Boom. We added him. They're in the red now. Javon Hargrave officially added as a defensive tackle. But we also want to get this into the 49ers 90-man roster. So immediately Hargrave is going to slot in over Javon Kinlaw. Javon Kinlaw is now a backup. Two Javons on this team. And Kevin Givens has been re-signed as well. And I would put Kevin Givens ahead of Calais Davis on the depth chart. Davis hasn't played yet. Kevin Givens signed, and now I'm going to type a little bit about Kevin Givens. So the 49ers have taken care of two defensive tackle spots, Kevin Givens, Javon Hargrave. They have seen Jimmy Garoppolo leave to the Raiders and Mike McGlinchey to the Broncos, both expected to leave, obviously. Compensatory picks. It's been a great 30 minutes for the 49ers. Let's put it that way. Just an epic 30 minutes for the 49ers if you look at what has transpired. My burrito's still waiting to be eaten, by the way. This is March 13th. Handling Givens. Let's see here. That was courtesy Matt Barrows on Kevin Givens. Wild, guys. Absolutely wild. The 49ers defense is going to be scary. They're the number one defense in the league, and they just added the best defensive tackle on the market. Sometimes, stuff you're like, oh, maybe they'll address their biggest weakness by getting the most expensive player, and you're like, well, they probably won't do that because he's going to be so expensive. But they did that, and everybody could sit down and just marvel at the situation. So, if you want to watch me type, you can do that. I'm not going to be talking much here over the next few minutes. Oh, yeah, the Hargrave signing probably will cancel out a compensatory selection. That's true. Because the 49ers went big. Went big in that regard. Oh, I got a Hargrave article. We're going to put this up on the screen. Let's do this. 49ers add Javon Hargrave as the NFL's top defense gets better. Well, that's a nice headline. That's a really nice headline. That's there. We got to get this up on the screen for all of you. You could check it out on The Athletic. This will be resting next to my head as I type. All right, here you go. Go ahead and check this out. I've put it into the chat section or the comment section. We are seeing history in the making. 49ers going for a Super Bowl. A massive 4-year deal worth up to $84 million with, okay, here we go. All right, I'm going to be back in a few minutes. Well, actually, I could stay here. Now the 49ers do need to add to that offensive line, that's for sure. All right, just wrote 2 graphs on Javon Hargrave. Now I am looking at some more. Garoppolo's agreement is going to include approximately $45 million guaranteed from Jeff Howe. He's my coworker at The Athletic. And I'm also writing a little bit about Kevin Givens right now. Boy, we have a lot of content pouring in right now. Kevin Givens, $2.1 million for the 49ers. That's according to our Matt Barrows. All right. Writing a little bit on Givens. I can't believe you guys are just sitting here watching me type. Case Keenum going to the Texans. Jimmy G in Las Vegas. He wasn't part of that wild game there at Allegiant Stadium this year. McGlinchey, you could see why the 49ers didn't think they'd be able to sign him at that price. Over $17 million from the Broncos. All right. So Givens, what were his numbers this year? 1 sack, 2 sacks. All right. We'll have more updates for you on the Athletic here in a bit. Filed those away. How's everybody doing? Have you had a chance to sub to the Athletic? Check out my Javon Hargrave piece. You know, I asked John Lynch about that at the NFL Combine. My specific question to John Lynch was, you know, are you going to be in the mix for spending a bit of money on that interior defensive line? How big of a priority is this? This was the worst part of this team last year. And again, he shrugged it off. He's like, we don't have enough money. You know, we got to be efficient. You know, we really like Kalia Davis. He even added in, we really like Javon Kinlaw toward the end. And then they turn around, boom, they signed Javon Hargrave. Crazy, crazy stuff. Now, it just so happens to be at the same time that Jimmy Garoppolo is headed to the Raiders. And, you know, likely we could put almost certainly headed to the Raiders right now. And it's about time for me to eat some lunch as well. Maybe get some chips. Quick stop to get some chips. They're on the floor here. They're a little too far for me to grab. Oh my gosh, Rita Oak has done her Shawshank Redemption Jimmy piece. This is good. This is really good. We're going to put it up on the screen. I got to remove one from the screen. Stop that one. Present, share screen. Enjoy. From Rita Oak. Jimmy Garoppolo. With the Raiders. I'm getting some chips, guys. Forgive me for the rustling noises here. But I am hungry. And I'm going to eat chips if I want on my channel. Oh, oops, I didn't mean to erase that for you. There you go. You could take a look at the artwork from Rita Oak. And I'm eating chips. Piece on Jimmy Garoppolo. Astute point from Mike. 49ers only able to sign Javon Hargrave because they have two quarterbacks on rookie deals. They make that big swing because they have the cap room. He's absolutely right. Juwan Taylor, 4 years, $80 million with the Chiefs per Adam Schefter, left tackle. See the four. I doubt the 49ers would be going wild if they're going for an offensive tackle at that price. One more chip. The 49ers, Hargrave made the entire Philadelphia defensive line better. So I wonder what it means for the rest of the. I think he's going to make Nick Bosa better. He's going to make Drake Jackson better. He's going to make the other defensive tackles better. Kevin Givens. I mean, he was a force in Philadelphia. This is a rising tide lifts all boats type of situation. Just filed a piece on Jimmy Garoppolo. There's a lot happening. Laramie Tunzel discussing potential trade scenario with the Chiefs, according to Aaron Wilson. That's crazy. Chiefs taking that offensive line seriously. I think the 49ers should too. Man, sometimes it feels like a fever dream covering this 49ers team. It really does. I'm tweeting right now. Javon Hargrave was a massive catalyst of Philly's defensive line, which featured the best pass rush in the NFL. 22 sacks in 2 seasons. '49ers biggest 22 weakness was pass rush from the interior D line. A move has a move ever made more sense? Oh, man. So my tweet was, this was on Javon Hargrave. Javon Hargrave with 22 sacks in 2 seasons at defensive tackle, which is exceptional. That's special. Was a massive catalyst of Philly's D-line, which featured the best pass rush in the NFL. The 49ers' biggest 2022 weakness was pass rush from the interior D-line. Has the move in the fight for NFC supremacy ever made more sense? Hargrave means the 49ers mean business. Got a good tweet for you guys right here. This should generate some discussion. Put this up on the screen. Let you talk a little bit. I just got so many windows open. This all ends up going crazy. I can't believe we're sitting here for an hour. Nothing happened. I step out to go get a burrito, and the 49ers signed Javon Hargrave. Jimmy Garoppolo signs with the Raiders. Mike McGlinchey signs for over $17 million per year with Denver. I mean, just everything goes completely haywire. Completely haywire. So here's what I want you to analyze. All up to you. Coming up on the screen here in just a second, we had our Jimmy Garoppolo Shawshank Redemption piece from Rita Oak up there. One more look at it, but I'm going to stop that screen share and go for another one. Right here. Leave it in the comment section. Javon Hargrave and Nick Bosa will draw how many combined double teams and how many combined sacks in 2023? You can fill in the blanks. Leave it in the comment section. I've got some other work to do. Jeff from Pro Football Focus points out the 49ers pressure numbers on the interior last year. Eric Armstead led the way with 20 pressures. Kerry Hyder had 14. Givens 13. T.Y. McGill 10. Hassan Ridgeway 8. Kinlaw 5. Akeem Spence 3. Michael Dwumfor 2. Javon Hargrave in the regular season had 57 quarterback pressures alone. I believe 66 total pressures, including the playoffs for Javon Hargrave. Complete game changer for the 49ers on the inside. Jake Brendel, now the most important piece left for the 49ers to re-sign on that offensive line, but we'll see what they do at tackle. Could be that they trade, package some of those picks, trade up, draft somebody to pair with Colton McKivitz at right tackle. All right. Going to talk here in a little bit for those of you waiting and have another little blurb. So, what did you guys think about Javon Hargrave? How many sacks, double teams with Nick Bosa is going to be the number for next year? We're going to talk Garoppolo. We're going to talk Hargrave. We're going to talk everything. Going to do some shorter videos here for the crowd that's done with work. Been on for 2.5 hours with this one. So it's been fun. I got to step out for lunch. Nothing happened. Legal tampering window started. Then boom, 49ers are going to sign Javon Hargrave. Then boom, 49ers re-signing Kevin Givens. Then boom, Jimmy Garoppolo headed to the Raiders. Mike McGlinchey to the Denver Broncos. So between Garoppolo and McGlinchey, 49ers in line for some compensation in the 2024 draft. But because the 49ers have signed the biggest defensive tackle on the market, the best defensive tackle on the market, they're making a clear statement. They're all in for 2024 or 2023 Super Bowl run. The Super Bowl would be played in 2024, but 2023 season. Massive move on the 49ers. Unexpected, yes. John Lynch, didn't hint at it when I asked him about it a couple weeks ago, but the 49ers have made their move. They're going to have to do some financial Tetris to truly make it work. All right, more soon. Like the video, sub to the channel. I'm going to be, pumping out some more stuff. I've just been going for 2.5 hours. This is a good stopping point. I'm going to get more in depth on the channel here, so subscribe with the Garoppolo news, the Hargrave news, Givens, all that good stuff. So it is time to step aside for just a little bit. Everybody take care.